Hey guys, my name is Kristen Lovers. I'm the Executive Director of the Architectural Foundation of Cincinnati. Our mission is to help people understand and appreciate the built environment, from what goes into bringing the walls up to what's happening when construction workers are blocking your way home. I know some of us are inconvenienced by it sometimes, but it's also what builds our city, and we need to have a great appreciation for it. Cincinnati also has such a great variety of styles of architecture. There are a lot of historically significant buildings in this area, and we really hope to bring light and appreciation to what Cincinnati has to offer in our built environment. We accomplish this through a variety of programming that we offer the community. One of the things we do is construction tours, which is why you guys are here today. We also do this with programs like Seek Cincy, which is a citywide scavenger hunt that you can take part in at the beginning of October. We also have an app called the Architour. You can download it on your phone for free. It's going to help you understand a little bit more about the history of the buildings downtown. It's a great resource to have right in your pocket, right in your hand as you're walking around downtown. The biggest program that we do is called Design Lab. We work with 50 schools in the tri-state area, just like the one behind me. The first half of the program teaches students the fundamentals of architecture, design, how to finance projects like this, and then the actual building process that goes into building them up. And then the second half of the program, they get to show off what they've learned, and they go ahead and build us a model. Design Lab is a free program. It's offered to anyone that wants to sign their classroom up. Teachers will be the ones that sign the class up and orchestrate it. Then we match you with a volunteer. Due to COVID this year, and for this year only, we're gonna let individual students sign up. Because of all the online learning, we didn't want to leave anyone out. So if you want information on how to sign up, all of that information is on our website. Now I'm going to pass it over to Maya and Jake, who are going to give you an inside look at the historic renovation of the Ingalls building.
Welcome to the Ingalls building. My name is Jake Sewer. I'm the project manager for HGC Construction. With me today is Maya Hahn, who is the architect for Luminat. Before we go inside and start our tour, I thought I'd give a quick update or rundown on the building, and Maya will add to it. As you can see from the facade, this is a high-rise building in the middle of downtown on the corner of 4th and Vine. It is the first reinforced concrete skyscraper in the world. From ground to top is about 220 feet. The construction is concrete, reinforced concrete. Floor slabs are roughly 8 to 10 inches thick. Exterior walls are 8 inches thick. HGC is in the process of converting this building to a 126-room hotel with bar and restaurant on the second floor, main lobby on the first floor. We'll start our tour going in through the building, going into the basement, and then work our way up through the building. Welcome to the first floor. We're standing in the entrance to the hotel. The doors behind me, the wooden doors, will be the main entrance into the hotel. With off to my left will be where the lobby and mart and things are for right when you enter the entrance of the hotel and start to check in. If you look up, you'll notice that there are some pretty detailed plaster ceilings, rosettes, and moldings. Everything that you see in the ceiling will eventually be restored, and this will remain exposed when the hotel opens in early 2021. This first floor created some very unique challenges due to this being a reuse project for trying to maximize the footprint of the building and have as much space as possible for the hotel on the first floor. I'll let Maya explain some of the details that went into the design.
All right, just to add a little bit to the history of the building too. So prior to this reinforced concrete structure built 1903, the only other concrete building on record was 1902 with a height of 6 stories. So this being a total of 16 floors, quite an extreme change from the previous. A lot of folks did think that this building would potentially collapse upon its own weight. However, with the reinforcement, the twisted steel bar that was used, allegedly there was a reporter sitting outside, staged there all evening. trying to be the first to report the building to collapse on its own weight. However, here we are today, 2020, building's still here, still intact, and we're adding our new program back into it. So over the years, you can imagine, handful of restorations, renovations that have happened here, all of which, everything from first floor restaurants to office tenant spaces above. So where we are today, we're standing over in the main lobby. This area here was actually an easement that was taken over by the city in the 80s, I believe 1984, for when 4th Street was a main thoroughfare for the business district. They since, the ownership group went back through the easement process, overtook the easement, and now we've incorporated into the footprint of the building. So here is lobby space. The hotel in general, with the restaurant, lobby, entry, check-in, all that really needs to be on the footprint of 2 stories of this small floor plate. Each floor plate here is roughly about 5,000 square feet. So when you enter into the building, we have down kind of a landing zone, check-in, some media breakout spaces, but then the real program of the restaurant bar happens up on the 2nd floor. So the 2nd floor, what we try to do, what we could best find from historic documentation is connect levels 1 and 2 through a new monumental staircase, which if you pan around to the side here, you'll see this at one point was the original entry into the building with the marble ornate ceilings, as well as this cavity that goes up to the 2nd floor. So what we've had to do in order to get egress, life safety, and address some of the current code issues, we had to actually remove a portion of the structure above, and then we also widen the stair, but keeping this curvilinear monumental piece back into the original architecture of the building. So talking about the history and some of the architecture of the building, our design intent was really related to the 1903, this being its own new bold beginning is where we tried to play off of. So the bold beginning of this building being reinforced concrete, the structure, the bones, the twisted metal, and that tying into the new bold beginning of what the story of this building is going to become again after layers and layers of renovations. So, we wanted to really accentuate some of the original architectural details. So what is now going to be the new atrium into the 2nd floor space, as you come this way, you'll notice that the new staircase is going to then ellipse up and spiral back all the way up, where you can see some of the existing bars, the twisted metal, and some of that raw steel that was here in some of the original architecture and engineering of the building.
So we're in the sub-basement of the building. The building is comprised of a sub-basement and a basement. The original intent of the sub-basement were where a lot of the back of house equipment was stored and lived in terms of boilers, different tanks, and all those sorts of things is what the intent of the basement was. This is also where, when they were building, they would mix all the concrete down in this area in order to bring it up throughout the building. When they were doing construction back in 1903, the stories say they were mixing roughly 100 yards a day, was what their production was. So now with this being repurposed into a hotel, what you're gonna have down here are the back of house items that make up a hotel. So we're actually standing in the laundry room. This is the laundry where everything will come. Behind me is actually the linen chute, where the linens will come into the laundry room. Over on this side, there'll be offices, there'll be employee break rooms, there'll be the manager's office back in this area, fire pump room, and then kind of a neat feature of the sub-basement is you also have a mezzanine level up top where we'll have the grease interceptor for the restaurant that will sit up here on the mezzanine level. We'll have additional items for the walk-in coolers. With this being a historical building, you have certain limitations on where things can exhaust out of this building, not only due to the constraints of building next door, but also historical features of the building. So the original building had 4 elevator shafts. The new design, what we're gonna have is we'll keep the original elevator shaft that you can see over on this side. This elevator will drop all the way down into the sub-basement. The next elevator shaft that you can see open, this will be the oversized elevator that will stop at the 1st floor level. So the shoring that you see behind me is actually the slab of Vine Street. What we had to do first was get all the underground plumbing in place for the bathrooms and the break areas. And then we were able to get the shoring in place to erect the buck hoist for the project. This shoring is what is holding up the slabs in the buck hoist that goes up all 15 stories. We're now down in the basement of the building. The program down here in the basement, this will be the workout facility for the hotel. This area was obviously originally part of the bank. This is the bank vault behind me. Over this way is actually 4th Street. So everything that you're seeing over here, you're actually under the sidewalk of 4th Street. The blackboard and everything you see around on the walls was put there for waterproofing down here in the basement level. So you'll be able to get off the elevator, come across, or you'll be able to come through the doors up on the 1st floor and walk down the building. This area is used to feed the 1st floor as well. So the HVAC system, due to the plaster constraints we saw on the 1st floor, is fed up from the basement where we're standing up through the floor.
All right, over here we have the colonnades that bridge the edge of the building, and then beyond that is the edge of the street. So everything beyond that point is the sidewalk above where all the pedestrian travel is at the street level. Each of these columns behind us has historic marble that we're going to preserve. We're going to make sure we coordinate our ceiling height just above that. We're routing a lot of ductwork selectively in order to avoid conflicts with exposing of any of this marble, as well as the vault behind us here. You know, we really want to accentuate this piece. This is going to be a part of the program itself, where we have some of the workout equipment within the vault, and then we'll also have it flanking outside within the fitness center. So typically a Courtyard square footage, they like to have roughly 900 to 1,200 square feet for a fitness center. And here we've been able to do that by utilizing some of the vault space as well as some of the extra volume in the basement. So here inside the vault, the assembly of the vault itself is 3 3/4 inch solid plates of steel, which plays into the program a little bit of the free weights being within the vault. It's the dungeon space of the building. But it's 3 3/4 inch plates and 4 to 5 inches of solid concrete that assemble the vault in its entirety. So here on the 2nd floor, you can see why we really wanted to accentuate this space and make it part of the lobby. At the point of renovation, we evaluated the windows, the window height, and found that there was an extra 2 to 3 feet of fill where they enclosed the windows from the original condition. So what we did is we opened up all the windows to the larger original size and footprint of the space, totaling window height being roughly about 16 feet tall. So you can see the space is grand, original ornate ceilings that we're bringing back and preserving and restorating. Similar to the basement level and the 1st floor, we have this sandwich condition where we don't want to penetrate through any of the decorative or ornate plaster or historic elements. What we did is we threaded up above, created a false slab to route our plumbing pipes, and also selectively put bulkheads and soffit ceiling conditions to route ductwork. That way we can keep this space open to the original design intent and not impede on any of the ornate plaster work. All right, so here on the 15th floor, we're able to take the opportunity. The floor-to-floor levels are about 18 feet versus the 12.5 feet for our typical floor. So we're able to introduce loft levels for some select rooms here on the 15th floor. So there's a total of 8 rooms on this level, 6 of which are going to be lofted spaces. So currently we're standing up on a loft that gives you a rather nice view of both OTR, the river, and then the river to the west.
As Maya alluded to, we're up on the 15th floor. I'm actually standing on the mezzanine of the southeast corner mezzanine room. One of the challenges of these mezzanines, or these 2-story rooms, was how do we get air, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems down into this area without blocking off views that everybody's looking for out to the west and to the south. As you can see behind me, you'll notice some framing down. What it does is it'll keep the sight lines clean and the unobstructed views to the south and the west by having these clouds in place.
My name's Alex Stanger, and I'm a project engineer on the Ingalls building project. What we have up here is the HVAC units for the building. So the DOAS system, as well as the cooling tower up here, all of our large exhaust fans for the stair pressurization systems, as well as the kitchen exhaust system, all come up to the top floor here. So the roofing system that we replaced the existing roofing system with when we got here, it used to be a cementitious roofing system that was torn off the building and replaced with a thermoplastic poly roofing system, or a TPO system, that integrates into all of our scuppers, roof drains, onto the parapet walls, and then on the outside of that we have a liquid applied coating that goes on the outside of the parapet walls and onto the cornice to give a complete 100% waterproof roofing system. So all of these roofing systems that we've installed onto the parapet and onto the roof and replace the existing roof is all in an effort to continue and extend the lifespan of this project and this building long into the future.
We're on the 13th floor of the building. This is a typical guest room floor, which will pretty much be mirrored from 14 down to 4. We're standing right outside the elevators right now. Right to my left is what we call elevator 1. This is the passenger elevator for the hotel, and the one that I pointed out when we were standing in the basement. Right next to me is elevator 2. This is the oversized elevator. To get an idea of this shaft, if you look up above, there's a large steel beam. This beam outlines the edge of the elevator. From that steel beam over is a mechanical shaft, and then from the shaft is the stair that is coming up through the building. The construction of this floor started with getting the steel in to support the slab. Once that steel was in and grouted, we were able to install the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems that you see behind me.
All right, so the building program compiles of levels 1 and 2 is public space. Levels 3 through 14 are a typical guest room, and then levels 15 they are the lofted floors, where 6 out of the 8 rooms have a lofted mezzanine. And then the 16th story is all mechanical, as Jake alluded to, the heart of the building. Here we have just a typical courtyard guest room is right around 320 square feet. 325-ish. Here, each typical guest room were closer to 280. So in order in doing so, we had to lay out the rooms in such where they missed the windows. We had to coordinate the offsets of the windows with the historic preservation office. Then we were able to get up to 10 guest rooms on the typical floors. So as a part of design early on, we were looking at the building envelope itself being 8 inches of poured concrete, monolithic with a single weight of brick on the outside, directly laminated to it. We were looking at how to better insulate the envelope. So on the inside, we did fur out the walls, accommodated additional spray-on closed cell insulation, and then in doing so, there was an existing historic profile for all the casing and trim of each of the historic windows. So all the windows are historic, left in place, finished, repainted with a new storm window for better energy. And then we went ahead and replicated all the profiles of all the window casing, trim, moldings throughout to maintain part of the historic integrity of the building.
We're back down on the first floor where the tour started. We're standing right where the stair will lead us up to the second floor. Thank you for everyone for joining us on this tour. HGC is proud, thrilled to be part of this project. It's been a great team working with Luminat as our architect, working with Thorson Baker as our structural engineer, our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineer and CMTA, our structural engineer, Thorson Baker, and of course our ownership group of Sri Hotels and Hvac Quill.
My name's Hvac Quill. I'm with Sri Hotels. I'm the Executive Vice President of Design and Construction, and we are at the Ingalls building, the future home to the Courtyard by Marriott, downtown Cincinnati. It's going to be a unique one though. Our rooms are going to be a little bit different than your prototypical ones, but it's going to be special because of where it is and the historic nature of it. But Cincinnati was new to us about 8 years ago, so we wanted to find someone who's established in the city, and we were able to do that. You know, HGC I think has been around since the 1930s, so they're part of the city, and we're trying to become part of the city. So when you partner up with a team like that, and then you know our team at Luminat, it's a lot of local folks as well. They care about the city as much as we do, and it just makes for a great partnership that way. Most of the other buildings we work on throughout the country were built the latest in the 70s or 80s. So there's always a unique challenge when we come up here to Cincinnati, but we enjoy it. You know, knock on wood, we haven't had too many unforeseen challenges, but I think that has a lot to do with, you know, partnering with HGC and Luminat. You know, we've worked together as a team on several projects now. It's kind of like bringing the band back together. So, you know, there's a lot of homework done on the front end of this project to make sure we try to avoid as many obstacles as we can. Some little hits along the way, but nothing too crazy yet, and hopefully we can finish out like that. And you know, hopefully when this thing's ready to open, people will be ready to travel again, and we'll be off to the races. Favorite feature of this building has got to be the ornate ceilings on the second floor. From where they were, from the years of just getting damaged and kind of beaten up through multiple renovations to where they're being brought back by Valley is pretty incredible. I think that's going to be a highlight, and you know, I welcome everyone to come and check out the first and second floor when we're done, and have a drink.
The whole HGC team, from our superintendent Conrad Cross to site engineer Alex Stanger, we are looking forward to opening this project late March of 2021. So book a room and have a drink at the bar. Thank you.